welcome back to the channel! Who is it? Oh, look at this punum! Can you guess who this is? Welcome to the mind of Opex. I am your host, Opex. And this is going to be delivered right from the mind of Opex. Anyways, let's just dive into the video, shall we? Cue the intro! Opex, you're holding on your phone, you're drinking a coffee, and you're driving 60 miles an hour. Not even looking on the road, Opex. Why are you doing this? Don't you care for your safety or everyone else's safety? Alright, I'm putting down the coffee, hand, steering wheel, we're safe. So in this video, I want to talk about victimness. Because I believe this is a topic that I've definitely talked many times about before. But in this video, I want to discuss more or less the victimness of the situations. Look, in many situations in your life, you can choose to be a victim or to forgive. You can choose to be a victim or you can choose to accept. You can choose to be the victim or you can listen to the criticism. See, here's the secret, guys. And I was kind of discussing this. Let's start here because a video or two ago, I don't remember how long ago now, I made a video, and in that video, at the very end of the video, I started talking about Black Lives Matter. And the reason why I don't even answer any of their questions, because it's all designed to scare you, right? It's saying that they're victims, even though they have no evidence. Evidence is very crucial in information. And if you are a victim from systemic racism, let's say, and you're a Black Lives Matter rhetoric junkie, you might think that some white cop will often put their knee on a black individual and just hurt them and just do things to hurt them because they dislike their color of skin. Now, I'm going to say the obvious truth real quick. Every single person on this planet has biases. Every single person on this planet. And we can go outside of the people spectrum and go into the birds. Let's talk about birds. Muhammad Ali used to say, Blue Jays will go with Blue Jays, Cardinals will go with Cardinals. They don't mix. Why do humans mix? I have chickens, and I'm going to just name a few right now, I don't want to call them species, a few types of chickens, I'll just say that, because I don't know the word to use right now. Just waking up, kind of, just drinking my first coffee of the day. But my chickens, when I raise chickens, okay, let's say I have 2 barred rocks, 2 black Australorps, and 2 white Orpingtons. We'll just say that, right? It makes it easy. 2 barred rocks, which is a speckled grayish black and white one, kind of. Then we have a all white one and an all black one, and 2 of each. Can you guess which ones they want to hang out with? The black ones want to hang out with the black ones. The white ones hang out with the white ones. And the barred rocks hang out with the barred rocks. Is that racism? Come on, guys. Stop playing fucking victim over rhetoric rather than reality. In reality, white people are going to go with white people. Black people are going to go with black people. And this is natural. Your parents are white. Your family's all white. Your community's all white. You want to live in an all-white community because of this. Because it's comfortable. It's natural. It feels right. It feels like you're part of the tribe. But once you see somebody that doesn't look like you, let's say you're in an Asian country, let's say Japan, where 99.9% of all Japanese people all look the same. Opex, you can't say that. That's racism. 99.9% of Japanese people are Japanese people. They're not white, black, other Asian types. They're not. They're Japanese people. Now, you take those Japanese people in that scenario where they're all happy, they're comfortable, that they're all recognized by their tribe. There's, there's no stereotypes. There's no racism, essentially. There's just Japanese people. And they see other Japanese people all day. Now, what happens when fucking white European shows up, doesn't speak a lick of Japanese, doesn't know how to write, doesn't even want to work? Do you think these Japanese people are going to, with open arms, welcome this white person from insert whatever country in Europe you want? No. The answer is no. But if you acclimate, you learn the culture and you acclimate to the culture, you work, you provide value to the community, to the country, they don't mind you anymore. You speak the language, you can communicate, you're not going to be a burden on the country anymore. Then, all of a sudden, it doesn't really matter what you look like anymore, does it? Because you've acclimated to their culture. Okay, you guys get that. Now, when I raise my chickens, I can also tell there's another factor, an environmental factor. There's a we factor that goes against the idea of you look different and speak different and have different ideologies and cultures. This is, I have chickens, and I have those same two again, right? I got 2 black Australorps, 2 white Orpingtons, and 2 Barred Rocks. Well, guess what? Them that I purchased all together, that grew up from chicks all together, they're family now. They fight for each other. They stick with each other now. Does that make sense? It's true. But then if I bring these 6 hens and I put them into an enclosure with 6 other hens, let's say all 6 of those hens are Jersey Giants. All right? And they don't look anything like the other hens. But there's 6 Jersey Giants that I just put 6 hens into. Those 2 white, 2 black, 2 speckled. Now, the 2 white, 2 black, and 2 speckled stick together. Stick together naturally for survival reasons. They are family now. They don't care about the colors. So does that make sense? If I put those 6 hens in with 6 hens that lived in this enclosure for 2 years, that's all they ever knew was each other, and they all look the same, then all of a sudden you got 2 white ones and 2 black ones and 2 speckled ones showing up. It's going to be one versus the other. Period. None are going to say, oh, I'm going to welcome this one and not this one. No. If you were part of their group growing up, you're part of the group. Everyone else are outsiders. And it's going to take years to acclimate. Years to acclimate. Hope this is all making sense. Hopefully I'm not diving too far around. And, I mean, no hands on the wheels right now. I'm driving a country road. No one on the road right now. Oh, Opex, I care about your safety. Look at what you're doing right now. This is evil. You're making me not a victim anymore. All right, so you guys understand that if I put those new hens with the old hens, there's going to be problems. The old hens are going to fight for their location, for their pecking order, for their spot, their roosting bar spot. They're going to be fighting when, let's say, I give them all mealworms now, or a treat. They're going to be fighting for the treat, and they will peck each other and hurt each other to keep their pecking order spot, essentially, right? And to say they're the outsiders and I'm the insider. Okay. Same thing goes when I was talking about Japan accepting a random white person from Europe. They're not going to accept them unless you acclimate and are willing to acclimate, to be part of the community. Say, I'm on your side. Does that make sense, guys? Now, going back to Black Lives Matter, you've been brought up with white people, black people, Asian people, all different cultures, all different diversities, and all different ideas. So now, America is America. You acclimate to America, and it doesn't matter what color you are, because no one really even sees that unless you watch a lot of fucking media. And your brain is wired to be that way due to brainwashing techniques and different types of propaganda techniques. Like when I said that, again, it was either last video or the video before I was talking about Black Lives Matter. I got a chronic book. This book is straight weed on the front. Front cover is weed. It says, I think, chronic on it. And it looks like a really cool weed magazine. But then, you open it, and the second you open it, it's rhetoric. That itself should give you a red flag. If no one wants to hear the rhetoric because the rhetoric isn't based on reason and evidence or any type of upstanding logic, reasonable logic, so reason and evidence, you need other ways of infiltrating that information to people. Someone buys a magazine that says weed on it, basically. Oh, weed magazine, I get to learn about cultivating or different strains out there, or different techniques of making new ruderalis plants and whatever, right? Nope, wrong. Had nothing to do with weed. It was to convince weed heads about the Black Lives Matter rhetoric, which is essentially bullshit. And we all know that. I mean, the truth is, it doesn't matter what I think or what you think about black lives, because we are in America and there's something called laws, and you can't just hate or ostracize or be biased towards these people. And even if you are in your head, let's say, it doesn't matter because it's an action. We all have, that chick's hot. Well, she's married. Does it stop her from being hot, sexy? No. She's still hot, but she's married. Therefore, we got to change our brain to say, I can't ask her out on a date because she's married. Does that make sense? So it's not what plays in your fucking head. It's about your actions. We all have crazy shit going through our mind at all times. And whether you act on those things or not, in a good way, in a bad way, is everything. So I want to say this right now, that if you are playing victim over anything, really, adjust to the situation. Understand, we are all trying to acclimate and be in this thing together. No one's trying to be hateful. And if someone is trying to be hateful, they are such a minority, that you're actually targeting a majority to target the minority. I've never, in my whole life, I've lived in the hood, I've lived in the country, and I've lived in the suburbs. I've lived in multiple states, from Ohio to everything, right? To Florida, to New York. I have seen it all. What I haven't seen is white people, or any people, targeting black people for murder. I've never seen it. I've never heard of any real situation like this or anything. So when the news says this person, this cop, put his knee on this black person's neck until he died, the reason why you believe that is because that's what they are trying to do. They're trying to make victims out of something that didn't happen. Oh, but Opex, he did die by his neck being squished in. Yes. When you're dealing with a police officer and you're on drugs, I mean, you got to have the full account here. You can't just say, I'm going to take tiny bit of information, believe it, have total faith in it, and just disregard all the other information. You can't do that. Get all the information and then base your understandings on all the information. As Bruce Lee once said, add what is useful, discard what isn't. You know what isn't useful? Rhetoric. Rhetoric, let's just throw that out the window. That we don't need to hear anymore. We've heard the rhetoric. Now let's go to the evidence. George Floyd's fucking high. I mean, did you watch the video? Or did you just see the spot where there was a knee on his neck? Is that the only part of the video you watched? I seen the video, just like everyone else. But I'm not pretending some things happened and some things didn't. Dude's on fucking drugs, which is a huge thing when you're dealing with a police officer. That changes everything. What either are able to tolerate changes. So let's say he's on crack. I don't know what he was on, but let's say he's on crack. He's uppity, he's jittery, he's quick to talk, he's not quick to listen, he's not obeying the cop by any stretch of the imagination. Now, of course, I'm somebody who wouldn't obey the cop too, but I wouldn't do anything that he did in that video to put himself in the position that he put himself in, regardless of race. Race had nothing to do with how he was acting. George Floyd essentially wasn't going to obey, and, of course, when you're resisting arrest, they have to use something called force. I know that's difficult for rhetoric people to believe. Force. Oh my God, why is he using force? You shouldn't use force on people. If somebody's using force to resist, how are you going to obtain control over this person? Force! Psh, did you think about that? I'm resisting, therefore he can't handcuff me or anything. How is he going to handcuff him? How? Riddle me. Someone's on crack, resisting by all means necessary. This cop needs to gain control because this guy will not let him gain control. And all his fidgety stuff started way before he started losing air on his neck. So when he's struggling at the last seconds, did the cop think it was any different than him struggling the first seconds? But way before his knee was on his neck and he was doing the same fucking fidgety bullshit? Opex, you're racist because you don't think that's wrong. Killing black people. What? First off, to me, I'm an intelligent person. When I see George Floyd, I'm the only one who doesn't think black person. Because you're idiots. What does it matter if he's black? Come on. What did it matter about his skin color? What did it matter? Nothing, right? Didn't matter to the cop. Didn't matter to anyone. If you're resisting arrest, it didn't matter if you're white, Asian, green, yellow. Didn't fucking matter what color you look like. Did it? It didn't. So stop playing victim, saying, I saw a white person hurt black person. Therefore, they're hunting them in the streets. Where's the hunting? Hunting? No one's hunting. There's no evidence of it. But you do see lots of violence every day, regardless of race. Right? There are races that are generally more apt to murder or to steal or to commit crimes, on average. But any race is possible. And we all live in America, so we're all under the same environment. That's huge, guys. Environment. So that's why you see in America, like young Chinese boys shooting people. Young Chinese boys, they should be in school and not allowed to have after-school activities until they finish their homework and blah, blah, blah. No, he lives in America. Same environment. Same shit. When you are in America and you are in a cesspool of different religions, cultures, and ethnicities, and etc., that's what it is. We're all in this thing together. Just like, let's say, when I had two blacks, 2 whites, 2 speckled chickens. That's America. We're in this thing together. The rhetoric that you are using is creating more division. If you are using reason and evidence, you can't be divided anymore because there's no more rhetoric. There's only evidence. Whoa! You surrender to evidence, Opex? That's crazy thought. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of people that are playing victim, and it has nothing specifically to do with race or anything like that. But, of course, there are many different reasons why people are playing victim nowadays. This could be, the world is just too tough. So I'm victim. They take too many taxes out of my paycheck, so I'll just play victim. This person said a derogatory statement as he walked by me. Therefore, I'm playing victim. I'm offended. What the fuck? If you're offended by what someone says, there's a problem with you. That means you're playing victim. The victimness of the situation is a delusion. It is conjured up by bad information on top of protecting that information. So if somebody says, you know, like, for example, everyone has an ego. And that's the biggest problem. And I got to address the ego part. And I was hoping to address that earlier. Let's actually address that now. Everyone has an ego, right? Everyone. It doesn't matter, male, female, whatever. If I called you, hey, asshole, that's not a parking spot, and you get offended, is it because I called you an asshole? Because who am I? You don't know me, right? You're getting offended by someone you're never going to see again, and you're just wasting your energy, blah, 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 right? You're just not intelligent. Or you'd never had a father figure or somebody that can help you through life, and that's understandable. But that's why people play victim and shit and have egos, is because they weren't raised correctly. They weren't raised to be better people and to become their greatest versions and to understand reality rather than to assume rhetoric. But yeah, so people have an ego. People are quick to be like, no, I can't believe you just called me an asshole. Or if I said, hey, asshole, and didn't say anything. Or if I said, hey, asshole, that's not a parking space. And they're clearly not in one parking space. Maybe they're like halfway out of parking space or on the side of the road or whatever. Are you mad at me? Are you mad at the information? Or are you too dumb enough to understand the situation and your ego gets involved to protect you from showing how retarded you are? Come on. Do yourself a favor. Rewatch what I just said. The last minute or so. Get it ingrained into your brain. There are people that are quick to react. Quick to react. If you are quick to react, you are not thinking. And if you're not thinking, you're not considering variables or the situation. Therefore, your ego gets involved and has to protect you from such information. Because that information is going to make you a better person. Gets you to understand more of reality. But if you choose to neglect that information, you will have to play a victim card. Because if you don't play a victim card, then all of a sudden, in your mind, you're not good enough. You're not intelligent enough or strong enough or spiritual enough or whatever the case may be, why somebody's telling you something. That's not a parking spot. That means maybe you can be a danger to others. So I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to help others. And I'm calling you an asshole because you are affecting other people in a negative way, which can create an accident, which can create even death, depending on the situation, right? So when I say, hey, asshole, that's not a parking spot, and that person doesn't get offended, then I understand that they understand that what I said was true, which I already knew, and they didn't have to fucking be egotistical about it. I knew what was true. And two, they get offended because they have no counter argument. All right. So what was said was true, and then they can't even agree to it that it's true, because now it's, I'm a victim and you're the bad guy. And we got to get the cops called on you, and everyone with me has to yell at you, and it becomes that. And they have to do that because they aren't willing to learn or grow in life. If you said something to me, as me being I don't want to call myself an intellectual, but as somebody who understands reality or life or how things work, I don't want, if you say something to me like, hey man, you look like a fucking idiot. Let's just go with that. You look like a fucking idiot. You think I'm going to be offended and be like, no, I'm not, you idiot? How is that fixing the situation? And how is this improving my situation? Or did that just belittle myself to him? Now, let's say they even said something truthful, right? Let's go there. Something truthful. Let's say I'm walking my mom down the street, right? My mom is very healthy and stuff, but regardless, let's just imagine, because you don't know what she looks like, my biological mom I'm talking about. Obviously, my other mom's dead. By my biological mom, I'm helping her down the street, and then all of a sudden, she falls on some ice or something, right? And I help her up, and someone goes, ha ha ha! Oh, what an idiot! She fell on some ice. That's so funny. The only thing I'm going to think is, you're an idiot. I mean, that's my mom, so you have no consideration or care or anything like that. Again, even if it's true, like, it's a funny thing that she fell and now that person's laughing and calling me and my mom an idiot, let's say. Obviously hypothetical. I don't believe in any asset that I am going to get egotistical and fight back. You know why? What are you going to do? What's happening now? You're the person who's making the situation worse. And even if your situation was a good situation, tell me about it. Let's say I park somewhere I shouldn't be parking. Hey, asshole, that's not a parking spot. Am I going to be like, it is now for me, you piece of shit. Fuck you. What's happening other than more division? If the rhetoric is, you don't want to be a victim anymore, stop being one. Stop being the victim. Are you a victim? Because if you are a man above the age of 25, there's no more excuses. The world's a difficult place, and everyone's trying to take advantage of you. Once you understand that, your job's trying to get as much money out of you as possible. So they're telling you, hurry, let's say you're a truck driver, get to this load faster, whatever it may be. Your boss wants more money from you. Your wife wants more money from you. Your kids want more time from you and money and whatever, right? Everyone, even that you love or don't love, wants something out of you. Are you just going to sit back and play the victim your whole life? Oh, they all just want things from me. Grow the fuck up. This life is fair. You know why it's fair? Because we all deal with the same shit. I, just like you, insert Indian race or black race or gender or people don't like Muslims in America. Bullshit. There's tons of mosques in America. The secret here is you turn off your TV and you start being a better person for yourself and realize when a situation happens, take a step back. Determine the situation. After accurately determining the situation, you can understand the situation better. Unless you want to just be a victim and spit your rhetoric and see, the reason why I don't want you guys doing that is because it's more division. It's more censorship. It's less freedom of speech, less freedoms, and there's more fear. Because now you got to be politically correct in everything, every word you say. And who cares? Who cares? If a black person, let's say I'm working at Home Depot. I'm a white person. There's a black person. There's all different races involved. But the black person decides to say, I really can't stand white people because of this, that, and the third. You think I'm going to be like, dude, I didn't know that. Are you going to kill me? Are you going to murder me? You don't like white people? Do you see how much of a pussy that shit is? Playing victim? I don't care what race you are. Don't care. Don't care. Matters very, very minusculely to me. I mean, it matters so little, like, I don't even see race. And I'm being honest. Like, I live in America. Like, when I'm walking down the street, there's a black person, there's an Asian person, there's a white person, there's another black person, there's another Asian person, there's an Indian person, every fucking day I see them. You see them after, what, day 2? You don't even realize it anymore, that there's other colors, and it doesn't even bother you, because, guess what? You're in America. Like, what are you going to do? What's your racism going to do anyways, even if you were racist? Are you going to kill them? No. So what are we doing? And if they were going to hurt, if this black person says, I'm going to murder white people, then we have a racist problem. Or vice versa. The white person saying, I'm going to murder this black person as soon as he gets out at 3 p.m. from his bank job. As soon as I see him walk out that door, bam. Is that happening, guys? Okay. I'll give you 30 seconds to Google how often that shit happens. Mind you, close to 400 million people in America. So, what, 10 out of every 400 million? Let's just say 1 out of 40 million people actively murdered someone because they thought their race was the problem. 1 out of 40 million? Do we even have to address that? What is it? 1 out of every 7 kids now have autism? That sounds like something we need to address. Racism? 1 out of 40 million causing a problem? 1 out of every 40... Let's say there's 10 people in America. 10 people. In all of America. With all this cesspool. With all these people coming in. So, if 1 out of every 40 million people actively murder or hurt somebody based on gender or sex or any of those things, what do we do? It's a non-issue. Clearly. It's a non-issue. This country has every color, every gender. I mean, there's only 2, but they claim to be so many, right? So many different types of people and avenues where it just doesn't make any sense. There's hateful groups out there. I mean, if you believe in ISIS, there are ISIS people in America that aren't even doing that. So what are we even scared of here? Oh, systematic racism. We're making sure that black people are poor on average. To be completely honest, I agree with you. That's kind of what they're doing. But not just to black people. There's no race or type of person that's excluded from this ideology. See, systematic racism doesn't exist. Systematic stealing your rights, stealing your money, doing that stuff exists to every race, color, and creed. But you don't see it because you only see it affecting your loved ones or your biased loved ones. I see it affecting everyone because I am unbiased, right? I am not looking at this as, how can white people have an upper edge in the workplace than Indian people or Chinese people? I'm not doing that. In fact, almost no one's doing that. But systematically, through, education systems, they're trying to weed out the intelligent people and then basically make sure everyone's dumber. No child left behind. They're making sure Chinese people or Japanese people that score blah, blah, blah in SATs, they have to score even a higher score just to even get into the same school that, and then black people, because on average they're not reading as much or understanding as much. On average, guys, that's not a racist claim, that's just evidence. Or trends. I mean, it's not me even saying this. This is just reality. So what the schooling systems do is they make sure that black people have a lower failing grade. So let's just say Chinese people need 95% score out of 100 to get into this college. But black people need 75%. Well, No Child Left Behind, and they're trying to blah, blah, blah. Well, what are you doing right there is those Chinese people that didn't score 95%, that scored 90%, aren't allowed to go into this college. I mean, these are just numbers and hypotheticals and stuff, but this is God honest truth of what's actually happening, right? The only way one person can be better off is by taking somebody else's value. If we have a finite set of resources and value, finite. If I wanted more resources, it comes out of the community. It comes out of the economy. You guys get that? So there's less for everyone else, regardless of race. It didn't matter about race. It's just... Okay, this video is getting way too out of hand, and I have actually a lot of shit to do today. Stop being a victim. There is absolutely no reason for it other than to continue being a victim. If you want to not be a victim, stop pretending to be one. No one here is a victim. No one, not one person on this whole planet, let's say there's 7 billion people right now, let's just say, not one of those 7 billion people asked to be on this planet right now. Let that sink in. No one asked to be here, but we're here. Now that we're here, not by evil design, now that we're here, we're all under the same umbrella. You know, the government's the mediator. There are certain rights and for some, and then 99.9% there's certain rights for them and rules. They're not doing it by race or this person's a Muslim, so we are going to make his paycheck half. There's none of that going on, so let's stop pretending it is. And if you're a victim, you're a pussy. Pussy. And I encourage you, if you're playing a victim, meet me out in the streets. I will fucking slug you. I have no problem saying that or doing that. And I can easily back it up. If you are going to play victim out on the streets, I know you can't beat me up. You're a pussy. You're a pussy. If you're quick to swing your fist, you're a pussy. You're a pussy. If you're quick to do anything, you're a pussy. So in this video, after watching this video and gaining as much knowledge as you can out of this video, using your own brain, wisdom, and understandings, understand victim equals pussy. Are you a pussy? Well, if you play victim, you are. It's enough for this video. Plenty more content coming. Plenty more coming. I am going to make daily videos once again. And if you guys have a problem with this video, let me know. And I should, when I make videos like this, I probably sound racist. And I don't give a fuck. Because I don't give a fuck about white people, black people, or any people. Don't give a fuck about these people, individual groups. I care about us. You know who us is? Not United States even. It's the world, guys. We're all in this thing together. Now, if you want to know what my idea is, if there was an alien invasion, we would need to stand up together, right? The alien invasion is the problem. Not even Chinese invasion. That's not even the problem. Is it? Could that be a problem? Yeah, because you're picking sides and then you can identify the problem or who's in the problem. But they've been funding both sides of the war for years, and it's all based on population control and making sure that the population's lower. obviously under 500 million, and they're way out of hand right now, so they want to reduce the population. They don't care about your feelings. That's why they're trying to confuse you using media and under the Disney umbrella, which everything you see on TV is under the Disney umbrella, which is, essentially rhetoric. It's essentially talking points. It's essentially confusion. Do you want to be confused? Or do you want to think and use your brain? I just poked myself in the eye. Do you want to think? Or do you want it to be thought for you? How sure are you about what they thought for you? How much faith do you have on what they thought for you? When every history book you ever read, these rulers want to kill you and control you. Every history book, can you name one ruler? One. That did not control its people. Think of one. One that just said, you know what? I don't control you guys. And none of us control you guys. You guys are free. One. Can you name one? Okay, so stop playing the fucking victim card. We're all in this thing together. See you guys.